WWE has kind of booked themselves into a corner here with some of the recent decisions they've been making. Now, without question, one of the absolute hottest stars in wrestling over the last few weeks, months, however you want to approximate it, has been LA Knight. Yeah! Ridiculous pops, basically night in and night out, everywhere they go. He is reportedly one of the top selling merch sellers in the company. I read something that said he had like the first, third, and fourth most popular shirts right now. And it felt like we had finally moved past the whole will they, won't they, when it came to WWE pushing LA Knight as one of their top baby faces. The fans clearly want to cheer for him. They're clearly ready for it. He seemed to have moved past all of the controversy that was surrounding him, that was coming from a lot of older retired wrestlers and legends. You had like Kevin Nash, and him had that whole weird thing where Kevin Nash basically said, he's a ripoff of The Rock and Stone Cold. Then he kind of came out and said, if he's this good and this over, why hasn't it happened anywhere else for him? Which was wrong and also sounded very bad. And now Kevin Nash then came out and apologized and was like, I don't watch SmackDown, so I don't know who that is. Which, again, not the best apology, kind of. So looked like everybody was past that. Everything was good. LA Knight was going to win this qualifying Fatal 4-Way to earn a chance to earn a shot at the United States title at SummerSlam. He was going to face Santos Escobar, who won the other Fatal 4-Way. Everything was going to be good. And then this past Friday, it all kind of popped off again when he did not win that Fatal 4-Way. Instead, Rey Mysterio will take on his LWO stablemate Santos Escobar for the chance to face Austin Theory for the United States title at SummerSlam. People were pretty upset. There are people on Twitter constantly now saying that LA Knight is getting treated like some of those old stars that got over, like Zack Ryder, Rusev, Elias, like all those stars that got over on their own who seemingly got punished for it. Others are saying that they're absolutely not taking advantage of all the momentum he's built up, a la Cody Rhodes with WrestleMania 39 against Roman Reigns, where he was arguably hotter than he will ever be. Since then, it's kind of seemed like he's been just fine from a reaction standpoint, but still, the sentiment is there, and it makes sense. LA Knight, one of the biggest things that they tried to say as a negative about him was his age. He's about 40 years old, which is the same age as the Money in the Bank holder, Damian Priest. Significantly younger than a lot of some of the other top guys on the roster. And, it's clear he can still go in the ring, and it's clear he's still a draw, which are usually the only two things that company cares about. So the fact that he's not getting put there, people are a little concerned, because it's not like no one in the back can hear the reactions that he's getting. So now fans are left holding and sitting around listening to, rumors that he's in line for a big push come SummerSlam, after SummerSlam. There's now reports coming out that he might still get a big push, but it might not be as big or as long, because apparently he's not politicking correctly backstage, was a headline I saw. He's apparently rubbing people the wrong way. People don't like something about him as far as backstage goes. So who knows? It kind of sounds like a lot of things are coming out all at once. I don't know, because one thing that Triple H has been great about since he took over has been kind of using basically everything at his disposal to muddy the waters between what is real and what is a work. So really there's no way to know until they kind of make a decision. But it feels like they're running the risk of missing the opportunity for the sake of trying to, catch lightning in a bottle again, like they did with something like Kofi Kingston or Daniel Bryan, where those guys, people were so desperate to see them win and to see them finally triumph that it became these big iconic moments. The problem with that I think, is that LA Knight isn't that type of character. He's not an aw shucks, fight from underneath, white meat babyface. Like, he's a cocky, arrogant character. Like, there's nothing about him that suggests, like, he needs to fight from below and scratch his way to the top. Like, his whole thing is, like, he's here to win big matches. I don't know, it kind of feels like they're going to book him a little bit out of character if that's the route they're going. But at the same time, I can understand the logic of hey, the more and more people, get wound up over this and complain online, the sweeter it's going to be. That's just a fine tightrope to balance. And, in a perfect world, it would work out fine. Triple H would pull it off, and everybody would be happy. But the fact of the matter is now there's also, all the Vince McMahon backstage rumors, ripping scripts up, changing things. Vince was reportedly the one who was out on LA Knight to begin with. So I can understand the trepidation on fans. I don't think it's quite the same as some of those other stories of wrestlers that didn't quite get their push or had their moment kind of cut short. But at the same time, I trust. This is gonna be a freezing cold take if I get this wrong. I trust Triple H with how he's been booking the show. It's been a lot more cohesive and it's been a lot more focused on long-term storytelling, but also long-term watching. Like if you watch and pay attention, you tend to get rewarded a little bit more, and that's an encouraging thing. So we'll see what the plan holds for LA Knight for SummerSlam and moving forward. If that push does indeed come, it's probably going to be based around one of those titles. I don't know if it'll be, like Gunther and the Intercontinental title or the United States title, but I don't really see them booking LA Knight to dethrone Roman Reigns or beat Seth Rollins. So I'm sure it's going to be one of those, but the type of run that, if he does get one of those, the type of run he gets might go a long way towards, seeing how WWE views him in the now and going forward. So it's tough to, sort through all of this and then kind of just say wait and see, but it feels like this is going to be one of those ultimate, like, okay, we got to wait and see what happens, because it's too unpredictable. For my money, I think he's great. I don't think there's anyone that could grow up watching Attitude Era wrestling and not be influenced by the likes of Stone Cold or The Rock. I think he's good. I certainly think he's talented enough to get the opportunity to at least see what he can do. I think the Austin Theory US title run has been painfully mistakenly booked. It's been disappointing, and it feels like a lot of untapped potential. And I think someone like LA Knight in that type of feud, whether as the champion or the challenger, can really inject some life into it. It's what we saw with the Pitch Black match with Bray Wyatt and that whole feud, where he really carried it and brought a lot of the electricity to it every single week. So in a high stakes title type program, I really think the things that he does well can be a huge asset towards not only boosting the credibility again of the title, but by giving Theory a better foil to bounce off of and letting him show a bit more of the potential that he has as well. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on LA Knight, if you think he's underrated, overrated, properly rated, if he's just an imitation of those other guys, or if you really like him and want to see him get these opportunities. Let me know. I know it can be polarizing, but these are just my opinions. I'd love to hear yours. Appreciate anyone watching this. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.